An insider from the world's most powerful tech philanthropic empire has broken his silence, revealing the details of a multi-year aerosol program designed to shut down critical thought itself, an operation that targets perception, memory, and free will. He says it's been running for years under the radar, funded through climate initiatives, executed through private contractors, and tested on unsuspecting populations. What started as a weather modification trial has turned into something else entirely, a mass-scale neurological experiment. And today, we play you his recording, the one that he says has cost him everything. Before we dive in, I need to tell you about a new service that helps you protect your online privacy from hostile states like Israel. Our partner VP.net isn't just another VPN, it's the next evolution in private browsing. Built with unbreakable zero-logging architecture. That means no logs, no backdoors, nothing for the deep state to snoop on. Visit vp.net/TPV for more. For years, independent researchers, pilots, biologists and whistleblowers have been warning about what's being sprayed into our skies. Aluminium, barium, strontium, and conductive metals so toxic they make your head spin. And here's the terrifying truth. Whistleblowers are warning that the damage is already done. The extreme aluminium fallout is seeping into the soil, changing its pH, killing the microbes that feed our crops.
The amount of aluminum in our soil now is 5 times to 10 times higher than it was even last year.
Nano-aluminium is coating the leaves of trees, suffocating forests from the top down. And it's entering our lungs, our bloodstream, our DNA, and our brains.
The first documented case of Alzheimer's disease was described by a fellow called Alois Alzheimer, and I think about 1906. And we now know that that was a case of familial Alzheimer's disease. In other words, this person had genetic predispositions to develop Alzheimer's disease. Now, what we've found since, of course, in our research is that people with familial Alzheimer's disease have more aluminium in their brain tissue than we've almost ever recorded in any other individual.
This is Chris Exley, known by his colleagues as Mr. Aluminium, for his prolific work on the impacts of this known neurotoxin. After decades of study, he concluded that if there was no aluminium in brain tissue, there would be no Alzheimer's. But it's only when he started investigating the link between aluminium and neurological disorders that his life was destroyed.
I wrote a paper for Journal of Alzheimer's Disease Reports where I said categorically, unequivocally, no aluminium in brain tissue, no Alzheimer's disease. I qualified it by saying within the normal lifetime of an individual, because the fundamentals of Alzheimer's disease could certainly occur in extreme age. If one was to live 120, 150, then other toxins would produce some sort of similar type of response. Aging itself might produce that response. But my point was that without the presence of aluminium, you will not get Alzheimer's disease in the normal lifetime of an individual.
The elite found a new kind of weapon, one that doesn't fire bullets. They flooded the skies with aluminium, a neuroreactive metal, a fine dust that slips past every defense we have. Its purpose? To cloud the mind, dull instinct, and make questioning impossible. And when Dr. Exley got too close to the truth, the machine moved fast. Funding pulled, labs closed, his name erased.
And when my PhD student who did the first measurements of the aluminium, how much aluminium there was in the brain tissue, came to me with the results, I told her to go back and look at all of this again, because we thought we had seen astronomical amounts of aluminium in familial Alzheimer's disease, and then we saw values at least as high in autism brain tissue. And as I wrote eventually in the publication that we made in the abstract, you know, why a 15-year-old boy brain, when he died, would have amounts of aluminium almost never measured before is almost incomprehensible. So yes, we suddenly found something which I did not expect at all to find.
Dr. Exley discovered something the world was never supposed to know. The engineered metals weren't staying put. They were travelling through the bloodstream into the brain, where they disrupted everything. And when that exposure mixed with the metallic chemtrails haze, the effects multiplied. It wasn't nature, it was design. A perfect storm written into human biology.
What happens to aluminium at the vaccine injection site?
Right.
Because at the vaccine injection site where an aluminium adjuvant is in the vaccine, what we saw were these same types of white blood cells, macrophages, filling up with aluminium. They could actually ingest it until the whole of the volume of the cell was full of aluminium without causing them any immediate damage. They can then go off around the body. They can go off to the lymph nodes, perhaps helping to initiate the actual immune response that the vaccine was given for. But they can go elsewhere. They could go to brain tissue. Roman Girardi's group, using rats, showed that they could go from an injection site to brain tissue. So we now have a mechanism for loading up brain tissue with aluminium, and that is through these housekeeping cells of the body.
According to a Gates Foundation insider, none of this is random. It's the next phase of control. The elites are not conquering new lands anymore. They're colonizing the human body itself. We have the disturbing details after this important word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is pillsforever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. The price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with pillsforever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. Speaking of fenbendazole, not only does it get rid of parasites that live inside your body, there have been studies that show fenbendazole can help with cancer. Listen to this bombshell interview with Mel Gibson, who says 3 of his friends who had terminal cancer were cured by the very same ivermectin and fenbendazole available at pillsforever.com.
I have 3 friends. All 3 of them had stage 4 cancer. All 3 of them don't have cancer right now at all. And they had some serious stuff going on.
And what did they take?
Jesus. They took some, what you've heard they've taken.
Ivermectin?
Fenbendazole.
Fenbendazole, yeah. I'm hearing that a lot.
They drank hydrochloride something or other.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkout. Please click the link below this video to take advantage of this fantastic offer. More than 30 years ago, the blueprint was written. In the First Global Revolution, 1991, the Club of Rome admitted that to unite humanity under a single global system, they needed a common enemy. So they invented one: global warming, pollution, famine. Crises that could never truly be solved, only managed. While people rallied behind the fear, the elites pushed their real agenda. Because to them, the true enemy wasn't climate change, it was humanity itself. And now, the chemtrails are part of that same design. A quiet war on humanity designed to destroy our physical, mental, and spiritual health.
And they came up with this incredible document where they actually said we need a new justification for this all-powerful state. So the new excuse is going to be because the environment is going to be harmed and because climate is going to hurt us.
Wait, what? I could not believe what I just heard. Did world leaders really lay out this globalist plan in plain English in a physical book way back in 1991? I went on Amazon, and there it was. The First Global Revolution, which states, and I quote, "In searching for a common enemy to unite us, we came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine, and the like would fit the bill. And therefore, the real enemy is humanity itself."
Now, whistleblowers from inside the spray operations themselves are stepping out of the shadows, terrified but too outraged to stay silent. One insider from the Gates Foundation says the truth is far darker than anyone imagined. The goal isn't just control of the skies, it's control of the mind. they're dulling awareness, breaking resistance, and building a future where sickness is profit and compliance is survival.
If you're hearing this, it's because I finally decided to go on record. I worked for them, for the Gates Foundation. They told us it was about climate management, that they were saving the planet. But that was a lie. It's not about saving anything. It's about control. The stuff we're spraying, the aerosol mix, it wasn't just for weather. I've seen the internal memos, the particle analysis. It's full of aluminum compounds, nano-sized. Once it's in the atmosphere, it settles everywhere. You can't escape it. It's in the rain, in the crops, in the water supply. I used to tell myself it was harmless, just reflective dust to bounce sunlight. But I knew better when I saw health data. I watched the numbers climb. Neurological conditions, cognitive decline, early onset memory loss, not in the elderly, in kids, in healthy adults. And it lined up perfectly with the spray patterns. You could trace the fallout zones like a map. One of the guys in lab analysis joked that we were making people manageable. I thought he was kidding. Then I saw the briefings, behavioral dampening, population stability modeling. They weren't just changing the weather, they were changing us. You want to know what aluminum does when it builds up in the brain? It doesn't kill you. It slows you down, makes you compliant, dulls your edge. That's the point. They don't want revolt, they want obedience. The Gates Foundation's just the front, public face. The real power is older than any government or corporation. These people have been running the same playbook for centuries. Same empire, different tools. 500 years ago, they sent ships across the oceans, planted flags, took whatever they wanted. Gold, land, people. Whole civilizations erased. That was a conquest by sword and gun. They just got smarter. Then they learned you don't need armies to build an empire. You just need systems. Banks, patents, medicine, media. You build invisible chains. Now, in this century, they've taken it to a new level. They're not after land anymore. They already own it. They're after the human mind. They've moved from conquering continents to conquering consciousness. They figured out that the cleanest way to control the population isn't through fear or force. It's through chemistry. Change what people eat, breathe, inject, drink. Alter the balance just enough that thinking clearly becomes a luxury. You make people tired, distracted, dependent, and they'll never rebel. They'll call their own servitude safety. That's the new empire. An empire built on molecules, not bullets. And the Foundation? They're just the lab where the formula gets mixed. I know, talking like this puts a target on my back. They don't tolerate leaks. I've seen what happens to people who try. But the stakes are too high now. If we don't start paying attention, there won't be anyone left capable of paying attention.
The global elite are waging war on humanity itself, poisoning the air, the water, and the food supply. And now, a new battlefield has emerged. The new front is the internet, where digital ID, surveillance, and control will build a digital cage and create a new kind of slavery. Make no mistake, you are under attack. The same organisations writing the digital ID laws, the same bureaucrats pushing centralised data systems, the same trust and safety enforcers monitoring every click you make, they've now infiltrated the last refuge of online privacy, the VPN industry. Take Proton, for example, the so-called champion of privacy, the VPN trusted by journalists, whistleblowers, and dissidents around the world. What they don't tell you is that Proton has quietly taken millions in funding from the European Union. And here's the part they really hope you never notice. Buried in the fine print at the bottom of their page, the WEF is listed as an undisclosed donor. If you've been trusting Proton with your privacy, that should send chills down your spine. Because investors like the EU and WEF demand their pound of flesh. And the world's leading VPNs are only too willing to hand it over. This is where we have to draw the line, between the old guard that asks you to trust them and the new generation that lets you verify it. Legacy VPNs love to say no logs. They promise not to track you, but they can and they do. Buried in the fine print, they admit it. That's why the next generation is different. VP.net doesn't run on trust, it runs on proof, built on cryptographic transparency. VP.net doesn't just claim you're safe, it proves you can't be watched, tracked, or traced. No blind faith, no middlemen, no globalist investors demanding loyalty, just mathematical certainty. Go to vp.net/TPV now and see for yourself. It's just $5 a month, a small price to pay for real verified privacy in the age of total surveillance. Did you know that the NSA hands over raw signals intelligence to Israel, which includes Americans' unredacted personal details? Did you know that Google and Amazon are secretly working with Israel to use hidden codes that let Israel dodge subpoenas and do what the hell it wants with your data? Now, with Israel buying up the VPN market and hiring veterans of the Mossad's most notorious cyber espionage units, this isn't just a privacy issue, it's a national security issue. That's why we're urging everybody to switch to VP.net, the world's first trustless VPN. It's engineered so that even if somebody wanted to spy on you, they couldn't. No backdoors, no data trails, no compromises. And here's the best part. It's 100% American owned. No Mossad backdoors. No Israelis siphoning through your most private information. No blackmail. Sign up today at vp.net/TPV for just $5 a month. And you can finally stop asking, who's monitoring me? Because the answer is they were, but with vp.net, not anymore.